Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this burgundy glittery lip holiday look. If you guys are interested in how I did this, keep watching. Okay, so here we have my bare face. I do have my brows on from earlier. If anybody would be interested in how I do my brows, I think I'll make a separate video, just because I think it's kind of boring. But my skin is already prepped, so we did, what did we do? We did the Lala Retro Whipped Cream from Drunk Elephant as my moisturizer. And then we used this guy. This is amazing, and I feel like people don't know about this. It's called Nelson's Pure and Clear, and it's an acne treatment gel. It naturally and gently reduces redness and swelling, and it pretty much is tea tree oil, but in a gel form. What else is in this? Yeah, tea tree oil, purified water, alcohol, trolamine. But yeah, you put this on any spots you might have. It instantly takes away the redness and makes them easier to cover. So I used that on my spots, like over here, here, here. And then I exfoliated my lips. I think this is a step that a lot of people maybe skip or don't know about, but since this look is a very dark metallic lip, you want to make sure your lips are nice and smooth and hydrated. This guy is the Sugar Lip Polish from Fresh, and it tastes delicious. You just kind of like rub it in and rinse it off. So yeah, we use that. And of course, then I sprayed my face with my Oud Aroma water. I'm obsessed with this. I'm probably gonna use it more in this video. So now let's do the eyes. I'm gonna start with the Photo Focus eyeshadow primer from Wet n Wild. If you guys don't know about this guy, you see that? You're sleeping on it. This is amazing. I think it's $3. I use it on everybody. Your eyeshadow will not budge. So we're gonna just put this on. I just do this with my finger. If you wanted to be fancy, you could totally use like a flat shadow brush, but you don't really need to do that. The one thing with this primer is that it's very mattifying and it dries down super quickly, so work fast. Okay, so we got that on. And now we are going to go in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. You guys can see here. So it's the lightest palette, but we are going to be using this guy right here. It's called Subconscious as my transition shade. So we're going to just take a little bit of that. And you can use any sort of natural bristle rounded blending brush. And we're just gonna start to kind of work that into the crease. Use a light hand. You can always go back and darken it. And the reason I'm doing this because the eyes on this look are pretty light and shimmery and fresh. So I'm really just doing this to create a little bit of a shadow. Nothing too crazy. I have hooded lids, which means it's really hard to see my crease. And this, I find, kind of like fakes it a little bit. I go higher than my natural crease because I have that extra fold of skin, so when I open my eyes, you can't really see my crease. And I probably look so crazy. I think everyone makes such funny faces when they're doing their eye makeup, but that's okay. So you're just gonna kind of get that in there. We're not really making any sort of specific shape, just make sure it's clean and blended, and I guess kind of in like a half arc if you're gonna make the shape. That. we are gonna go onto our lid with my favorite eyeshadow ever made of all time. It's the shade Pink Champagne, and it's from Anastasia, Beverly Hills. This is just a gorgeous, glimmery, shimmery, but not like sparkly shadow. I think it really looks good on every skin tone. I use this on all my brides almost. It's just a really, really beautiful shadow. And I think for the holidays, it's nice. It's a little different than like a straight glitter lid. It's not gold. So yeah, we're gonna throw some of this on. Okay, so we are going to use, what am I using? It's like an Urban Decay shadow brush. It came in one of the Naked palettes. Honestly, any small, flat shadow brush will do. And just kinda, you just wanna make sure it's flat, like not fluffy, because we really wanna pack this onto the lid. So pretty. I love this because it makes the lid look just like wet almost. It doesn't even look like you're wearing eyeshadow. So like that. And then with the other side of the brush, I am going in with ShimmaShimma from Makeup Geek Cosmetics. It's just like a champagne shade. And we're gonna kind of dot this in the inner corner. You can bring it down onto the lower lash line and just kind of pat that a little bit out to the middle. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. And then we're just going back and just blend in a windshield wiper motion. Okay. So now we are gonna take my best friend, the rose water from Lash. You don't have to use this, you could just use regular water, but I'm not by a faucet. So just spray your brush and then go back to Pink Champagne, your shimmery shadow, and just dip it back in, and then go back and press this. Oh, it looks so good. Press this back over the lid, just in the center. And the reason I do this is because it really gives that sheen that we're looking for. You could also lay down just like a regular old vanilla or beige or neutral matte shadow first with a dry brush, and then go over it with the wet shimmery shade. But I just used a pretty intense primer, so that's why I just went straight in with the shimmer. So I feel like I need a little bit of depth in the outer corners. We're not gonna really, I don't wanna say smoke it out or shade it or anything like that. I'm just gonna kinda darken up the outer corners of my eye, just like a little tiny bit for some definition. I'm gonna go in with the darkest shade in the Shade and Light palette. It's Sombre. And I'm using an angled brush, a small angled brush. So you're just gonna kind of wanna like stipple or dab I'm just gonna trace the V of your lid. You don't have to be neat. This is the benefit of doing your eyes first. And just kind of get it on there. And we'll clean it up later. So if you are like me and you do have a hooded or a big lid, I do always like to kind of create a more angular shape. Okay, I am sorry, my camera stopped recording and you guys didn't miss that much. So I just blended the darkest brown from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette just in the outer corner of my eye. And then I did add a tiny bit of black Corrupt from Makeup Geek Cosmetics with my angled brush. I just kind of went like that. And then with my fluffy brush, you can probably see I blended it out. Again, just back and forth in the crease. And so we're almost good with that. And then we're gonna go back with Pink Champagne. If you mess up, don't worry, you can just blend it out or add more on top and you'll be good. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And now we are gonna go under the eye again with the dark brown from the Shade and Light palette. So just kind of, it helps if you like dot underneath as opposed to trying to like go in and draw a line or be super strong. So just like that. Okay. So now I am wearing eyelash extensions. So normally now I would curl my lashes and do mascara, but we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna fluff my lashes. And then we are gonna add some falsies. So since my lashes are kind of like almost through their cycle, I need to go get them filled. I'm gonna be adding some individual lashes. They're a great way, this is what they look like. They're a great way to kind of add some drama to a look, but they look much more natural than like a band of lashes, because when you look down, you don't see the band. So if I wasn't talking, I really think this is a pretty quick look and you could get this done like in between work before you have to go to a party, or I want to say even your car, but not driving because that would be unsafe. Regular old duo glue, and you're gonna need tweezers, and I like to just dab a little of the glue on the back of my hand. I like to use the clear duo. I know some people like the black one. If you're wearing like a really dark liner, then I think that's awesome. But if you're not, if you want a more natural look, clear dries down to clear. So obviously it works a little bit better. And then we are gonna just pick up one of our lashes. Oop. Dip it in the glue. And then you want to let it dry for a minute. You want it to get a little bit tacky. So I just kind of go like that. If you're putting it on yourself, sometimes I'll blow on it, but if you were doing makeup on somebody else, you wouldn't do that because obviously sanitation. And then you're really just gonna kind of plop them in. That's it. Just kind of scoop into the lash line. The best tip I can give for these is to have a super light hand. Like, don't squeeze your tweezers so tightly. And really you just want to keep your eye open. Ooh, my hair is being crazy. You want to keep your eye open so you can really see where it's sitting on the lash line. Went off camera for a minute to finish putting my lashes on because it's really hard to put them on and talk at the same time. But so pretty much this is it for the eye. Super simple. Now we are going to move on to the skin. We're going to prime, but I already did that when I was prepping my skin, and I've been using the Hello Fab Coconut Primer. It's super similar to the Too Faced coconut one, like in the pink and white bottle, but I feel like this is a little bit more emollient, like a little bit more moisturizing. So yeah, put that on. Then we are going to not use this. We are going to take the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. You guys know I love these. And we got some schmutz on our face. Okay, so we're gonna take these drops and I literally just dot the smallest amount on my fingertip. I'll try and show you guys. I don't know if you can see that, but just a little tiny bit, and just kind of pat it on your other fingertip. And we're gonna kind of just dab, like push it in to your cheekbone, up and around your brow bone. Once you have your liquid highlight on, we are gonna go in with our foundation, and I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way. I don't really like wearing foundation, so I really like this one because I think it does feel very much like skin. It feels really light, but you can build it up to get more coverage. And I'm going to show you guys a trick that I do, so I'm not wearing like full coverage, but I'm wearing full coverage, you know. So alright, we're just going to dot some of that out. And my trick is that when I need a more full coverage look, like when I'm breaking out, which actually has been like all the time recently, and I'm in my 30s, so I don't understand why that's still happening. Anybody feel me on that? But you want to kind of just spot your problem areas. You don't have to like cake the whole face. And then we're gonna go in with a pretty heavy-duty concealer. So another thing that I guess is like a makeup artist pet peeve of mine, I know a lot of people think that foundation is meant to act as a concealer, when really most of the time foundation is just meant to act as something that evens you out, but not necessarily gives you like super full coverage. That's where you would use a concealer or like an additional pigment. I look insane, so let's blend this. So I'm using a crown brush. They're like a cheapy company. It's synthetic, and I just really like the depth of this. Like, it's very thick, so it spreads the foundation well. This is harder than I thought to explain this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stipple. You're gonna just kind of like pounce, like push it into the skin. You always want to be pushing up with anything, you know, regarding your face. We always want everything to be lifted, right? And you're gonna just do this in a circular motion. It should feel like you're kind of hitting yourself in the face, but in a comfortable way. You don't want to go like that. That is going to A, cause wrinkles, and B, wipe off your foundation. You really want to think of it as like you're pushing it into your skin. So we're looking better already. If anybody has dealt with like reoccurring adult breakouts, let me know what you did, what products you used, who you went to see, because it's really annoying. And I would like to just be worrying about anti-aging at this point and not fucking zits all over my face, you know? I have really dark circles. It's genetic, so I like to always color correct before I go in with my concealer. I do this most days, even when I'm not wearing foundation. This is definitely a step I don't skip. And you guys are probably gonna laugh. I'm obsessed with, it's like really old. Don't do this. Don't use a really old concealer. But It Cosmetics used to make this color tan in their like full coverage concealer. And it's like the perfect salmon, pinky, peachy corrector color. And so I've been, been hanging on to this. Luckily, I only use a little tiny bit. And again, you could do this with a brush, like with a concealer brush if you want. When I do my own makeup, I use my fingers, but these are two concealer brushes that I do use. This is a really cheap one I actually got on Amazon. I will try and find the name of these brushes for you guys, but they're really good and they're really cheap, so that's nice. And then this is a Real Techniques brush. You can get these at Walmart, I think Target, no, Ulta. Again, super good price point. They're cruelty free and they work well. So anyway, take a little bit. If you don't have dark circles, skip this step, fast forward. But you're gonna take a little bit of the corrector, and I really mean like a little bit, because you're really just targeting the purpley parts. And the reason this works is because on the color wheel, yellow is across from purple, orange is across from blue. Usually your circles are a bluish purple tinge, so you are going to want a yellow orange concealer to correct the blue purple circles. So I am gonna actually wipe my hands. I am gonna actually use a brush because I want to just shape my shadow a little bit. I just want it to be a little crisper. I feel like everybody does the fish face when they do their concealer. So just pat it in, you don't gotta be crazy. And then we're gonna go in with our actual concealer. I am using the Kat Von D Lock It Concealer Cream. It's the only one I'll ever use. And this is where I go kind of crazy. I do like a triangle underneath each eye, and this is what kind of gives that like flawless, full coverage, Photoshop, airbrush, filter, whatever you want to call it, look. I usually go around the nose. I get a lot of redness there. And then again, we're gonna just spot wherever you have spots. And if you don't have spots, I am very jealous. And then this is gonna come in later for the contouring, but you just wanna kind of highlight right under your cheekbone. So when you go in with your bronzer, it's gonna make it look more sculpted, like more in. And then I'm gonna use the same foundation brush that I used before. And again, you want to push that shit in because we want it covered. Don't use it for the spots though. I'm gonna do something different for that. And again, if I wasn't talking while I was doing this, this would be super quick. So then I like to go in with my fingertip in the inner under eye area and just dab it back and forth. This is where the warmth and the oil from your fingertip comes in really handy, because you can get a nice smooth blend. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're looking better. Now with your spots, you are going to want a concealer brush, again, or you could use like a fluffier one. And what we're going to do is push the concealer kind of around in a circular motion. Think of it as you want the concealer to be sitting like on top of the zit or the scar, the blemish, whatever you're working with, because that's how it gets covered. But you go in like a circular motion around it because that's what blends out the concealer. And this way you don't have to be wearing 8,000 layers of makeup. If you want to, if you're into that, go for it. I just don't feel comfortable anymore with that much stuff on my skin. But I get it. With coverage as far as zits or raised, anything raised goes, you are not going to be able to make it look like 100% smooth. It just is what it is, like you got a zit. But when you work in really fine layers, you definitely can create kind of like a blurred effect, so it's not as noticeable. I think that's actually what doing makeup boils down to, right? You're kind of creating an illusion. You're highlighting what you want people to see, and you are hiding what you don't want people to see. So now we are going to just set under the under eyes, set under your eyes, and you can use like a fluffy concealer brush for this. I don't bake. I think once you start getting some texture, some age under your eyes, it just doesn't look good. But I think if you're in your 20s or you have really beautiful, supple under eye skin, go for it. So I'm using the Too Faced Primed and Poreless translucent powder. I love this powder. It's not too drying. It really is translucent. It holds everything in place. It's the one I always go back to. I like to highlight before I contour. This look isn't really very contoured at all, but it is a little bit, so I'll just show you what I do. So the reason I highlight before I do my contour, my blush, is because I think it gives you more of a guide as to where you're going to put the actual contour, the shade, the shadow, whatever you want to call it. I think when you highlight first, you see that kind of strobe, and it makes it much easier and also looks more natural than if you put it on top. I think it can start to look muddy. Like I said, this is not really a very contour heavy look, but I do want to kind of sculpt out my cheekbones just a little bit, and my forehead because I have a 5 head. So, I'm using the Becca Lowlight Sculpting Perfector. You're just going to take a little bit on your concealer brush, and this is a cream contour. Again, I think creams are always going to look more natural, and when you're learning, they're easier to blend. I want my forehead to look not as big. So I think it's a common I guess, misconception that you have to like draw lines all over your face. Think of it more as you're just putting the shadows back, the natural shadows back on your skin after putting on your foundation. Kind of makes you a blank canvas. So I really love this little Tarte brush. I got this a while ago. I don't think they make it anymore, but if they do, I will try to link it below. It's super tiny and you can really like get into the crevices. That sounds gross. When you are working on your cheeks or your cheekbone, again, make sure you're always going up, pushing it in, and always going in the same direction. Don't go back and forth like that. It's gonna make it look muddy. I think I would like to do just a contour and highlight video at some point to show you how to do it in a kind of way that's wearable every day. So that's that. And now we're just going to go in with a cream blush as well. I think in the winter time, cream products are really a nice option because they're going to give you that added moisture. I'm using the Cheekie Cheek Lip Shine from, who's this by? From Julie Hewett, Los Angeles, and it's in Jami Cheekie. And again, I'm using my finger for this. You're just going to kind of want to like smile a little so you can feel your cheek. And then I kind of just, again, dab or tap it into the skin. And it just looks so natural and fresh, this cream blush. It looks like a real flush, like you were just taking a brisk walk. And there you go. I look like I'm alive. It helps if you use more than one finger to pat it in. And again, you really just want to be patting. Don't drag it, don't pull it. It'll give your pretty face a streaky look. Just gonna spritz to make sure everything sits nice. Let that dry for a second. Okay, so I'm really sorry my battery died on my camera. I promise I'm going to get better at this. But this is the finished look. Pretty much I just lined the lip, I overlined it a little bit, and then I filled it in with the OCC Black Metal Dahlia lip tar. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I hope you wear this someplace awesome, or just around your house and feel wonderful. And I will be back with some more videos.